As good as it gets. Just to get in the door at all, I had done Twister and Mad About You. This was nothing like this woman opposite Jack Nicholson, you know. And I had read the script a long time before, and it just popped out at me as something I loved, and I'd never seen anything like it. So I think because I had those big credits behind me, as opposed to being the scrappy one who the director fights for, I was the one the studio makes you see, which I have never been before or since. So I walked into one of my favorite directors' offices going, I know you don't want to see me, but I'm here with my audition. But I worked really, really hard on it. And, you know, somewhere along the way I saw him try to find somebody to film the audition and maybe do the other scene. And I noticed him notice that something was happening. If nothing else, just my desire to be in it. And I came in and read again, and then I came and met with Jack, and, you know, I didn't pass out, so I passed that test. And finally he called, and I was doing my TV show at the same time. And he said, you know, I'm really close to thinking you're right for it. I'm not sure. And I remember saying, you should be sure. I want you to be sure. And the next thing I know, he was wanting me to do the part. And I'm very lucky it worked out that way. Yeah, you read a million that are okay, and you go, well, maybe if they change this, I could be excited about it, or maybe I'll get a shot at it, and if I do, I guess I could want to do this. And then you read that, or the sessions, and you go, that. I want to do that. No question.
You know,
I guess a lot of crazy things happening with my bangs over the year. There was like a scrunchy mousse phase, and then there was a super long straight phase. You know, I haven't watched really much of anything I've done since I've done it, but I do know that for 7 years I knew enough to know it was a great job. I mean, every day I said to myself, this will not last forever. Enjoy this. Paul Reiser is one of my dearest friends. He just came and saw Ride 2 nights ago and wrote me this beautiful email about it, which meant the world to me. But, you know, he and I had so much fun getting to work with somebody that funny and someone whose humor is not based on hurting the other guy. You know, some of the funniest people I know, it's funny because they're poking at people. That's not Paul's humor. So I had to laugh for 7 years.
improv.
Right, which none of it was improv. It was all written by Paul and a group of incredible writers who went utterly unrecognized, you know. I was like juggling Emmy Awards, and really, they'd say, it's like you make it up, or it's just like you're in our living room. I'm like, no, these men and women are writing their hearts out in there, and that's what makes it seem like that. A sitcom is, you know, often it doesn't go well, I think, creatively. And a lot of times a TV show is great in the first year and falls apart, but what made me agree to do it is that we've seen a million movies about boy meets girl or a married couple fall in love and it does or doesn't work out, but really you can't tell the story of a marriage in 2 hours, but you can tell it over 7 years. Year 6 of a marriage is very different than year 2 of a marriage, and that made the form perfect for the content, which is what you pray for. When Paul and I first met, and it really seemed like maybe we're going to do this thing, and they probably won't make it because it's just about these 2 people. That seemed so minimalist at that point. But we both saw, when we squinted ahead, we saw the same things: a moment where there's real trouble in the marriage, a hard time getting pregnant, competition work-wise and working that out. We both sort of imagined the same big story beats for the 2 of them.
Helen, come on, dead ahead here. Helen, right here, please. Helen, right there. Miss Helen, can you speak up? Right there, Helen. Right there, Helen. Helen, that beautiful smile right there. Helen, give me a guy, please. Helen, right back here. And straight ahead. Helen, straight ahead. Oh. Right, please. All right, Turn right here.